Hey everybody, welcome. All right, I can see the
Hello.
chat. Can see the chat has been pretty active already. Um, but just to double check, if you can hear us and see us, let us know what kind of llama you are today. Pedro's amazing. I know Janet. Hi Janet. Hi Ramona. Couple of people right here. Hi Clarice. Good afternoon. Okay, I think we can begin. Llama from Ramona. Hey. All right. Okay, super nice, everybody. All right, I think we can officially start, if that's going to be the case. Yep. All right, so hey, everyone. Welcome to another 30-minute demonstration with Etchr. We're both streaming live, by the way, on YouTube and on our new platform. So if you're a subscriber, you could watch us there as well. And if you're having trouble switching from the old platform to the new one, usually we just want to let you know that password resets usually does a thing. But if not, don't not to worry. I'm going to be dropping a link in the chat later on with our frequently asked questions. So with that, welcome everyone again. People are coming in. So my name is Kathleen. I'll be your studio host for today. I have with me an amazing artist you may have known already, because he's part of our resident artist program. So just a
Yay.
quick recap. Hey Pedro. Just a quick recap for everyone. Our resident artist program invites back some of Etchr Studio's most popular and well-received artists to teach on a regular, recurring basis. So this means that they'll be teaching several cycles of courses, the 30-minute class, 90-minute class, and master classes, and they could truly showcase their knowledge and expertise through the variety of topics that they can tackle in each cycle. But for this cycle, Pedro will be teaching us how to do visual souvenirs with urban sketching, which is very timely for the holidays.
Mhm.
So, without further ado, I'll let Pedro do the talking and I'll stay silent. So, Pedro, why not get us started and show us a couple of things, your works, and show us what we're going to be doing today?
Will do, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Thank you for presenting me. Thank you for hosting this. And of course, thank you, Etcher, for having me again and for having me as a resident artist, which is something very new for me and for Etcher, of course. So I'm very proud to be a part of this awesome team. It's been a really long ride, a really cool and long ride ever since I started with Etcher a few years ago. Couple of years ago. I think not 2 years ago yet, but almost. All right, so without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Hello, I'm Pedro. Some of you probably know me from previous Etchr workshops and lives. We will. I am an urban sketcher from Lisbon, Portugal, and I do work as a professional illustrator in a architecture firm, architecture company, and basically, what I do there is I work as an architectural illustrator. So I sketch what the architects are planning and designing, so that the clients get a better perception of what the design is going to be is going to look like and how it's going to be lived. So, and on the free time, I'm an urban sketcher, which kind of does a feedback loop because I learn a lot from my job to urban sketching and vice versa. So, and hope you guys can get a little bit of the can get a little bit of knowledge from my experience, and let's do this. So the plan today is to make visual souvenirs, and what is that, you ask? So visual souvenirs are more or less like an approach. I mean, it's something that Etcher and I came up with. It's not a proper school of thought, but it's basically when you sketch a bundle of stuff in a single page and like different scales. It's like when you sketch your favorite moments of your day to day or something, like some action or some sequence of events that happens on your day to day life, which is more or less like what we urban sketchers do. I mean, we sketch our day to day. We show the worlds one sketch at a time. We show the worlds what we're going through on our daily basis, and the places that we visit and that we see and that we experience. So this is more or less like I think like the closest that urban sketching can get to comic book arts, basically. So this is an example of what I'm trying to mean with this, and what I'm trying to go to trying to what I'll try to show you today. This was basically when I bought this my favorite brand, the brand of craft beer. The guy came to my doorstep to deliver it, and so I unpacked it. I put it on the fridge, everything on the fridge, so it took up like 2 shelves of my fridge space, no space for food at all. And then me and my girlfriend opened up a couple of them with this weird Norwegian moose themed or can opener or bottle opener, and we sat down and watched Cobra Kai while enjoying our beers. So it's like the whole story of a single day or a single moment of the day themed around beer with different scales. You know, like there's like the human scale, there's the object scale, there's the kitchen scale. Like we play around with different scales and everything put together and tied together in a single theme in a single page. So I'm going to try to show you how I usually do this. I don't do this often, but sometimes, like some days, you just have enough time to sketch like a couple of doodles along the way. So this is a speedy way and like a hastened way of recording your day to day if you don't have a lot of time in all these stops, basically. This is another example of what I mean by this. This is a concert that I went to recently attended. My first concert since the pandemic started, actually, here in Lisbon. This piano player, this Dutch piano player, Joop Beving, really cool stuff. So I sketched basically on like 2/3 of the spread. I sketched the audience and the room and everything, and then I did a close up of him, and basically like everything fits together quite well, and it tells the story of the concerts. Another one that we're going to let's see. Oh, this was from my also recent trip to Jordan, like earlier in the summer. And sometimes when you're traveling, you don't have a lot of time on each spot, on each place to sketch, to do like a grand sketch, like maybe like this one. I mean, here I had a lot of time, so I could enjoy the sketch. I could enjoy spending time sketching this amphitheater. But here, it's like was just like eating the dessert and then eating a Thai and seeing the people, like usual people in the cafes. The waiter came over, and then this is like just a small snippet of a street in Amman in Jordan. And of course, in the bus rides I had from Aqaba to Amman, I had a lot of time to sketch. So I did this point of view of the bus window, and with the sticker of the I think this was the tickets or something that is stuck in the luggage there. So this is just a way of capturing small moments of your day-to-day life and make it work. Actually, make it work in a single page. So this is what I want to show you. And speaking of that, we can also introduce the theme. I can also introduce the theme to the mini workshop in the sequence of this live. So we'll have the mini workshop in January. I'm not sure exactly about the date. Catherine, maybe
January
you can
10th.
help me.
Yep.
January 10th. Thank you so much. So we'll basically do the same thing as today, but we will travel throughout different places in the world. Basically, so today we'll sketch like a single ordinary day in our lives, but on the mini workshop we're going to be traveling. So we're going to be looking out for the things that will represent that country or that place the most, and like trying to be more effective with your quick sketches, basically. So this is like a single day in my trip to Jordan, basically, where we went to Petra. You can see like Petra in the distance there. But what I was impressed about was not Petra, but the arrival to Petra. You know, like when the gorge opens up to the Petra like highlights Indiana Jones style, and this Bedouin making grinding coffee beans and the gear that he uses to serve the coffee, and then there was a camel in the back. So like there's a lot of elements here that all play together, and you can even add some lettering to create like a more editorial effects if you like, of course. So this is going to be the theme of the mini workshop. We're going to be traveling from location to location, trying to grab the best that we can from each place. From photos, of course. Unfortunately, we have to do it by photos. And so for today, we're going to explore, and you already have the reference photo, I hopefully. Today we're going to explore a single day in, well, my life, my day-to-day life. And this was of course, I encourage you to do this exercise with objects that you have in front of you. But if you only have like tiny objects in front of you, that maybe it doesn't make sense. So try to use my reference photo. But if you do have objects and furniture and you have a window in front of you, then by all means, please do sketch your own context and not my context of the reference photos. Hopefully that's became clear. Hopefully,
Yeah.
if there are any questions about the process, please ask them through, and
Yep.
Kathleen will be kind enough to convey them to me. All right, so thank you, Kathleen. So for now, let's turn this to an empty spread. I'm using, by the way, the Etchr Perfect Sketchbook A4. I know I've written A5 as in the material list, but I'm doing A4 just for your guys' benefits. You know, like if they're at home, I need like a large page to to actually show you what we can accomplish with a single page. But feel free to use any kind of paper, any kind of sketchbook, any kind of size that you're comfortable with. The idea here will be to snap the pieces of to snip together pieces to create like a scrapbook of your day to day. I'm just adding these to flatten a little bit the sketchbook for you guys' benefit, for the recording benefit, of course. And I'm going to use like a Winsor pen, fountain pen, loaded up with DeAtramentis Document Ink. This is a German-made ink, waterproof. So I'm going to sketch first, and then I'm going to paint over it, and it's not going to smear because of this ink. And I'm going to use not as many watercolor paint colors as I have here. I'm probably just going to use like a couple of these, maybe 3 or 4 at most. But the main ones will be like cobalt blue or ultramarine blue, and we have a burnt sienna, which are my classic colors. These are actually Winsor and Newton, but you can also use, I'm using here as well the Etchr palette, Etchr 24 color palettes. And as you can see, like the most used are the blue and the burnt sienna right next to each other. All right. Of course, you need water, a lot of water. I have like a liter of water here. You need paper tissue or paper cloth to absorb, a little bit of tea, which I'll pour myself, and we're all set to go. All right, so to speak a little bit about the photo, the reference photo, it's 3 moments of it's like everything is put together in the same image. It's like 3 moments of my day. I think this was a weekend actually, so it's not my day to day, but it's my weekend. I had some coffee. This is like my on the first page, on the first part, on the top part of the reference image. I have basically my what do you call it? My breakfast gear: coffee making, toast making, some fruits on the side there, and yeah. So basically, I chose images that are really populated with stuff, so that you can choose. You can pick and choose which objects draw the most attention for you guys, and this is what urban sketching is all about. This is the advantage between sketching and photographing. On photograph, you just shoot everything in the same frame, but on sketching, you can actually choose what you want to include in your page. And then the next moment, it's a little bit of my living room, and there's a little bit of photo equipment there, like a photo studio light, which I chose to include in this sketch because we were actually taking pictures of our recently my recent baby.
Aww.
It was born almost 2 months ago, so we were taking like a photo shoot of him in our living room. So it was kind of messy. Had the lights, had the mattress on the ground, and everything. So, but there's a lot of objects for you to choose from. You don't have to choose exactly this one. And later in the day, I went shopping, and when I came back through the garden, I saw this pond that appeared because of the I think there was a leak in the drainage there. So like a natural pond emerged out of the grounds, and basically like the ducks in the park took advantage of it, of course. So we'll add there's a little bit of artificial, a little bit of man-made objects, and a little bit of nature-made objects. So it's good to have a nice contrast there. All right. If you guys don't have any questions, please feel free to ask at any time. I'm good with sketching and talking at the same time, and sketching and talking, yeah. So please do ask them away. But I will jump right into it because this presentation has been too long. I now only have half an hour to do this demo, which kind of feels like rushed. This is how I like to work, rushed. All right, so let's get started with the breakfast setup. I'm going to choose like this, my iconic toaster, and just go directly with the pen. As you can see, I'm not very afraid to fail, and this is something that you can learn from this urban sketching mind frame. Is that there is no failure in sketching. Just sketch, and if it's straight, if straight, if it's wiggly, the lines are wiggly, so be it. There's no failing. I mean, the only thing about urban sketching is that you get to record your day to day in a different medium, in an original medium, and it doesn't really matter that you're not sketching it properly or academically. That's the beauty of it. You're free to sketch any way that you like. And if you learn some perspective along the way or some color theory along the way, even better. But the important part is to like just enjoy what you're doing right now. And this speaks a lot about, I mean, if you do this on your, on your own environment and in your own day to day, and like recording the objects that stand in your point of view, like the moments that draw the most attention for you guys, then you start to really see, I mean, what do you enjoy in life? And it's like, of course, I enjoy coffee, so I just feel compelled to sketch my morning coffee rituals. So it's another way of you guys to get to know yourselves a little bit better and see what draws the most of your attention. So this is the toaster. I might just, this is the cup of coffee. I might just include the coffee pot. Oh, ellipses are really hard. But you see, I'm not really worried about making mistakes or anything, and you shouldn't be as well, because it's your own vision of the world that matters.
So Pedro, for this, we started with the first image, but pretty interesting question from John. Do you sketch throughout the day chronologically?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. Yeah. Well, the cool thing about sketching is that you can organize your page however you like. So there's sometimes I in sketchbooks I backtrack. Sometimes I can see like I go to sketchbooks and I see on one page a sketch from like like, I don't know, yesterday, and on the other page a sketch from like 6 months ago. So it doesn't really matter as long as you feel that they go well together.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter if chronological is your thing, then by all means do it. But I really sometimes I mess it up, the order. I don't keep the order. But it can be your theme. I mean, you can grab it and make it your own thing. Like, I only sketch chronologically, and that will be your style.
Embrace your own style, definitely. Yeah.
So you can see there's not a lot of technical stuff that I'm teaching here, and the technical stuff comes naturally from your practice. But I'm just showing you how easy it is to just, like just look at the ordinary stuff that's right in front of you and just enjoy it and try to learn something with it. So now I'm just, for you guys' benefit, I'm just vaporizing a little bit my watercolors. I should have done this earlier, actually, just to give them a little bit of just to activate them a little bit. And I can actually show you my kits. This is like the Etchr, actually the Etchr pouch, the Etchr brush pouch, but I've kind of appropriated it to myself, and like all the tools that I use, because the pouch is kind of useful, but I don't use
Hand.
all Etchr brushes. I just use like a couple of them. So I have my most used tools here. So I'm just going with this big, large Japanese brush, which I know that carries a lot of water, and I usually like to work with a lot of water. And I'm just going to paint this really lightly, just for you guys to see how simple it can be to, just like quickly paint something before you move on to your office or your daily work. I'm just mixing colors here, like burnt sienna on one side and ultramarine blue on the other side, just to have a warm color and a cool color. This is a really basic mixture of what professional watercolorists, they use these combination a lot. It really works well because in the middle ground, when you mix them together, creates like this kind of natural gray or urban gray, which really suits these urban views. So right now I'm just like using this warm burnt sienna color to paint everything that I see shaded. The coffee, of course, and
Yep.
the leftover coffee, and whatever I can see a shade, I'll just paint on it, and then I can even like put a shade underneath it. And but because I don't like this is very obvious. This burnt sienna, oh, like this is really warm. So I'll just mix a little bit while it's wet. I can mix a little bit of ultramarine blue, and the perfect sketchbook is really perfect for this because it really keeps, because it's 100% cotton, really keeps the wash wet for a long time, so you can really have time to go around it. All right, now we have like coffee color, and we have like a darker color as well, and it already starts to create like some three-dimensionality. And maybe I can mix it up a little bit. I'm sorry, I can include the palette. Actually, can include the palette here while I'm still not sketching in the other page. And this is just to give you a flavor of what you can do really quickly with your day to day. I mean, whenever you have a stop in your busy lives, you just use it to sketch, and maybe you'll learn something out of it, or maybe you'll just enjoy the moments. There we go. This is the edge of my cutting board. There, you can like wet it a little bit further. I really like this combination of sharp edges, and then like it smears a little bit. So it's like this combination of sharp and what's the opposite of sharp?
Uh, fuzzy, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes the right word doesn't occur immediately,
Yep.
in English at least. Anyway, you see, I'm just using this combination, these two color combination. Actually, I could use a little bit of alizarin crimson or any kind of red, actually, just to highlight a little bit the toaster here. I think it deserves. It's nice and colorful. And there you go. Bam, bam, bam. You can see I work really quick, but you please do not be stressed about this. You work on your own pace. You get what you get. I mean, you might get just the teapot, the coffee pot. You might just get the toaster. You might just get the cup. Please don't rush yourselves to capture exactly what I'm capturing. I should have said this earlier. Sorry. Um, please don't rush to like to anything. You just capture whatever draws your attention in this photo, or on your own environment, of course. Because I'm not expecting you to sketch this exactly. I'm expecting you guys to sketch whatever fancies you. wherever fancies your eyes. See, real quick, we have a vision of my breakfast nook in the kitchen. You can still add a little bit of backgrounds, maybe. Okay, I'm not going to sketch the whole thing back there, so I'm just going to add a little bit of backgrounds just to make it a little bit like nicer. Like this also works big time to contrast because I left this part of the toaster white because it was under the sun, under the light there. So if I create like a background there, I'm reassuring, I'm reinforcing the idea that there's a shine coming from there, from the toaster. So you can play around with contrasts like this. The toaster
Super
shines
nice.
more because I added the background. You don't really see it because of the shimmer in the wet part, but you'll see it in a minute when it's dried. So now we move on to the second part of our day. And so the photo session, the baby photo session, the baby's not there, but we'll just capture whatever you like that feels good with this. And the unusual, like the unusual object will be to, and the most obvious one will be to get the projector, the light source. But you can go for the plants, the vases, or whatever you feel like that captured your attention more. Even the patterns in the carpet would go well. I'm going for the lights because I already rehearsed it, and so to be on the comfort zone, of course. Anyway, and you can see I just leapt from the one page to the other because I like to use the spread as a whole. The spread of the page as a whole. I don't get limited by this the spine of the
Yeah.
sketchbook. I think we're just approaching the time, right? Kathleen?
Yeah, just halfway through, but definitely that's super cool.
Okay. I'll
On
just
the word.
take over a little bit, a few more minutes, just to catch the
Yeah.
last one. And this is where it gets interesting because now I'm sketching. This was right. These are small objects that I bloated them into the page. Now we have a slightly bigger object, but I'm sketching them and I'm sketching it in a smaller scale. So basically, I'm playing around with scales, and this is something that you can definitely do because it's a sketchbook and not a photo. So you can do whatever you like and play around with scale and play around with. I mean, there's nothing stopping me from sketching a whole building in the left parts of the page here. If you like the building and if you feel that it looks good or if it was part of your day to day. I'm just so it kind of seems like the light is standing on the cutting board there. So we start to play a little bit with perception as well, people's perception. And we're not getting a perfect like 2-scale version of our day, but we're getting like a comic book version of our day.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. All right. Just really quick. I'm just going to paint it
No
really
worries.
quickly.
Yeah.
And so cobalt blue, a little bit of cobalt blue because it's like an object, a man-made object, so it's kind of cold. You can use this logic, if you like, to approach things. But I'm just going to add a little bit of warmness here and there, just to make it a little bit more varied. And you see like the gray, this kind of gray, you don't really see it because of the shimmer, of course, but this kind of soft gray that is created by the mixture of burnt sienna and cobalt blue. I use this mixture a lot in my sketches, so if you follow my work, you're bound to meet this mixture more often.
That's a super cool mix. It's a different, gives a unique feel to it.
Yeah, it kind of it's like it's like a nice golden yellow or brown
Mm-hmm.
that you can mix with the blue and not turn it into green. If I
Yeah.
was using like ochre or something like that, then everything would go to green, and that's not really pleasant in my eyes, at least. Of course. Now I'm just drawing the shadow, dramatic shadow that it casts on the ground. It comes from the legs, and then it goes up, and then it projects to the cutting boards, and then maybe it goes down. Now I'm just playing around with perception because these two objects are not in the same reality, but I'm making them appear to be in the same reality just for funsies. There you go. You have another instance of your day, of my day, and just like that. There you go. Just a little bit more punch in the blue there. Next, we can even like add. I think I added this in the example photo in the example sketch. We can even like add the brands of the lights, which is there in the top. You probably won't be able to see it because of the picture resolution, but I know it's like something like this, and it kind of gives an editorial pop to it. Like suddenly it becomes like a magazine ad or something like that, but it's not.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Or you can just like you can just write breakfasts or early morning coffee or something like that. I mean, just to introduce a slightly different element in your sketchbook. All right, moving on to the third one, and we're almost done. And you can see this is really quick. Maybe you were a little bit more interested in the living room, so you spent a little bit more time in the living room. I did not. I just went ahead and did this one object. And now I just wanted to show you how you guys can like manage the theme of the whole thing. So now we've tied these two together like by this effect of the shade, the shades. Looks like it's in the same picture, but it's not. So it kind of messes up people's perceptions. In that way, it becomes more interesting. It becomes more, oh, this is confusing. I wonder what it is. So you make people want to see the sketch more, spend
Yeah.
more time looking at the sketch. Because it's like kind of messy and confusing, but at the same time interesting. So this is how you capture people's attention. This is also a marketing tool in a
Yeah.
way.
And just like
So
Janet has commented here, I like that you could make the important things big, even if they're actually small objects. So that,
exactly. Playing around with scale is fundamental to this kind of sketching. And you're allowed to do this, of course, because it's your own sketchbook. Now, I just wanted to include this picture of the pond, of the natural pond, because I wanted to have something natural. So I wanted to have something a little bit more fuzzy. So not to be tied up with like botanical botanical details or anything, but just like laying around ducks and real quick ducks. I think a science illustrator would be very disappointed with this sketch, but we're just having fun. We're not publishing this in any scientific paper, right? And there
yep.
you go. Now we have integration with the
Oh,
pawns and the light projector. Just because I went ahead and put the grass under it, and a couple of pigeons there. I think these are pigeons. It's a mix of pigeons and ducks. I'm just going to do the outline of like soft outline of the ponds. You can see I'm not really detailing that much, and I'm skipping parts and like skipping from here to there just to create that appearance of it's not exactly a sharp contour, it's like a fuzzy contour. There's another pigeon there. Oh my god, this one is too messy. And you can start to include like really big objects. You can play around with scale. One trick to face this exercise is to have small objects, medium-sized objects, and then large objects. I can like put up a tree or a building here, or like something like bigger than the size of a person. It's nice to have this thumbnail rule, like 1, 2, 3
yeah. It might be
sizes,
interesting.
different sizes. Yeah. Okay. I'm still going to paint this, so I have to leave something for the watercolor to work with. Mm,
So it's
by
kind
all
of like,
means,
sorry.
yeah. Sorry, go
Um,
ahead. You go ahead.
no, I was just saying like it's kind of like a not really a distortion, but a different take on um how you normally do compositions or planning your paintings. You know how the rule of thirds has been set up, but it's really integration of all of those important points.
Yeah, for sure. It's playing around with shapes, and it's definitely playing around with shapes and scale. Those are the two, I think, two main takeaways.
Hmm.
And of course, the theme. I mean, it's your day, so make it yours. Now I'm a little bit confused about the color that I want to use here, but I want to use like dark for this trunk, this tree here, and I wanted to capture this reflection here, and this reflection here, and the other tree also reflecting here. So I'm kind of telling the story as well through the reflection, because I'm not going to sketch all the trees, but I am going to sketch the reflection, going to paint the reflection of them. So I'm telling you that there's a tree there, there's an extra tree there without sketching it, just by having the reflection here. And then you go just try to fill up as much as you can with. You would think that I would like to fill this up with green, but in fact I'm trying to keep the color palettes to a minimum so that it all fills part of the same whole. So if I keep using the same colors, I create like a harmony between these elements. And I
Yeah.
just use like pop colors, like this red here, that like this alizarin here, to just to draw attention to a special object that you enjoyed the most. Like for instance here, I'm just going to draw everything, paint everything in that mixture of cobalt blue and burnt sienna. And I will try to capture your attention perhaps to that. Can you see the trees in the distance? They're really ochre, like really bright yellow.
Yeah,
They're
in the
in the
reference
distance.
photo. Yep.
Yeah. So I might just include those ones as a special color. So this will be my. So the way I use the alizarin crimson here, I'm going to use the yellow here to draw attention. So I have like a balance here. Everything is burnt sienna and blue, but there are these two objects that are special because they are painted differently. So you can. There's also something that you can play around with. Perception of color, and then just leave like. I'm almost finishing here. Sorry about the overtime,
No worries,
but
not a hassle. Yeah, I think everybody's painting along. They're pretty quiet as well.
excellent. I'm doing the talking for everybody else.
And you know how I know that they are painting along? Ramona just mentioned earlier that she's cleaned her brush with her coffee.
Oh my
And it's an
god!
and I
Yeah,
think
that
that's,
happens.
yeah, something
Yeah,
relatable.
very relatable indeed. This is why I'm keeping my cup of tea like really far away. Right
Oh,
side's
definitely.
dirty water, left side's tea or drinking beverages. All right. We might as well just like include a little bit of green. You can see that like the this duck, he has like green heads. So you
Hmm.
might include like a bluish green, so or turquoise, I'd say. So you might include that tiny detail just to draw attention there, like same way as we used the alizarin and the ochre there. So now we have an extra dot of like a special paint, a special color to draw your attention.
Right.
So there you go. This is more or less. Oh, let's create a backdrop for this one, just to enhance the
Hmm.
contrast. Same way as we did with the toaster. Maybe a little bit warmer, yes, just to go along with the ochre here. So you see, you kind of make connections between, make bridges between these separated objects, like this graphical bridges, let's say. Let's part that a little bit more. Maybe extend the shadow over here. Now you kind of have like an atmosphere here, an environment. You can see that there's something there in the distance, but you're not exactly sure what it is. It's like the unfocused effect on your camera. When you take a picture and the background is unfocused, that's what you get here. I feel this is a little bit too warm. I might use like sharp cobalt blue, just to just for us to make out the edges of the pond, that, so that it feels a little bit like contained in a way. And we can add a few of these horizontal daubs just to get the impression that there's water and reflections. Please do keep in mind that when you're sketching water, when you're painting water, you should keep a lot of white, because like you can see like there's a lot of white there, a lot of white paper, and that's what makes it shine.
Cool.
Whew. So really fast.
Wow. Super
There
nice.
you go.
And just as you're finishing up with the details, got a pretty interesting question from Zay. How come, Pedro, you're not using indigo?
Oh, I know that question. So, yep, Zeresend, huh? You're there. So, yeah, of course, I'm like indigo. She knows that indigo is usually my staple, my to-go color when it comes to shadows, when it
I
comes to
see.
deep shadows. I think we can actually indulge her requests by using a little bit of
Definitely.
indigo, and like creating a little bit of like deeper shadows here and there. So this is
Oh,
indigo. It's like maybe we can enhance the contrast here. This is like after touches.
yep,
We can
definitely.
enhance the contrast here just to make the toaster contrast a little bit more with the cup.
Hmm.
And maybe a little bit of shadow underneath the buttons there. Maybe these slits needs a little bit of shading. Maybe the coffee needs a little bit of darkening. So this is stuff that you can do like you're back home. We're not 100% happy with the sketch. So just like put these small touches just to enhance the contrasts. And there you go. Indigo used. Zay is satisfied. And yeah, I might even include some random tree trunks just to make it appear more like a park. There we go. This is it, guys. So let's just tag it, date it and tag it. Today is the 18th of December of 21, and this is Lumiar, which is the place where I live in Lisbon.
Uh-huh.
That's it. This is usually what us urban sketchers do when we finish a sketch. We date it, we place it, and that's it. It's recorded for history as being done in that place and that's at that time, at that date.
And
And
never forget that.
never forget that. Exactly. Because like the most important thing that we take away from the sketches is that we never ever forget that we did them. And we never ever forget. So like the choice of your objects, this is what you're going to remember forever. I mean, you go on a trip, you
Hmm.
maybe have like 15 minutes a day to sketch. You might as well choose your objects or your models, your sketching models wisely, because that's what you're going to remember the most. It's what you sketched. It's not what you photographed.
Definitely, yeah.
Just, just because you went around contouring them in your own sketchbook, you will going to be remember them more. So yeah, that's it, guys. So for the mini workshop, we're going to do this, but we're going to do this on different locations. So this is my hometown of Lisbon, and you guys are free to please experiment this within your own day-to-day lives. Show me, please do show me your work environment, your breakfast table, your dinner table, maybe your sofa at night when you're watching a movie. You just hit pause for 5 minutes and you sketch that nook of yours, that comfortable nook of yours, and please do show the world how you live your day to day. this is the main takeaway for today.
What a great way to end this short demonstration. And I'll go ahead and bring you back. Hold up. There you go.
It's a little
Hello,
bit
Pedro again.
unfocused, so yep. Oh,
Oh,
hello.
it is focused though. So
Okay,
thank
cool.
you so much for that lovely demonstration. I think everybody has loved it. Some people, I believe, have followed along. So if you did, don't hesitate to post them on Instagram and tag Etchr Studio and Pedro. I'll be dropping a bulk link. So that you could tag him on Instagram. And if you're too shy to post your work on the whole wide world, we have our safe place, our private Facebook group, that's Etchr Studio Fam, so that you could definitely um, get criticisms and feedback from Pedro. Um, and it's a safe place to grow, regardless of if you're a beginner or you're an advanced learner. So here's that link. And if you like what you learned today, um, I've also dropped the direct link in a chat for Pedro's 90-minute class. So it's a step by step process of this whole procedure. Don't worry, we're not going to be rushing you there. And Pedro will be teaching you for 90 minutes. And it's an in depth discussion of what you guys of what you have learned today. So Pedro, why not talk about again for others who are just came in, why not talk about what you'll be painting and what other things you'll be discussing in a 90-minute class.
Awesome. All right. So,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Oh, sorry. Was I cut off? Okay. I was asking that maybe we could show them some of our work for the mini workshop for the 90
Oh
minute
yeah, yeah, yeah.
class. Okay.
Sorry.
No worries. Cool.
Lost in the train of thought there. So yeah, well, we can. So I've experimented a little bit with the with photos I have from my own travels. Okay, so this would be like an example of a trip to Lisbon, and this is what draws my attention the most, like public stuff, like public realm stuff, public objects. Uh, I mean this tiny roof window, of course the omnipresent old trams, buildings, fruits, and like everything that draws your attention should go on your sketch. This is of course the one I've showed before, the Petra arrival from my recent trip to Jordan. You can see the same palettes like burnt siennas and cobalt blues all around, with the indigo to satisfy the indigo fans, and pretty limited palette. This is a trip I took to the U.S. So like three pictures of two of them in New York and one of them in Western Pennsylvania, where I went to visit the Falling Water House. So this is something that I'm still working on. We might not do this one. We might do another one. I'm really not sure about this one. And yeah, so that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. There's going to be a lot of reference images. We'll probably not have time to explore them all, but the idea is that you guys do whatever draws your attention the most. So it's going to be like more of the right mindset. It's more of a workshop, not on techniques, but on the mindset that you should have to like to increase your urban sketching confidence.
Okay. Awesome. Super
All
cool.
right.
And um, I've dropped that link in the chat, like I've mentioned, for his 90-minute class. And if you're already a subscriber in our new platform, you can actually see these upcoming classes under upcoming live section in the website. And lastly, please tell us how we did today. Follow the link in the chat to complete the feedback survey. Your responses help us tremendously. And if you love Pedro, let us know in the feedback. If you want some specific topics that you want him to tackle in the future, go ahead and let us know in the feedback as well. Again, thank you so much, Pedro, for your
Thank
timely
you.
demonstration for
Thank you
this
so much. Thank
holiday.
you.
Yep. And thank
Oh
you,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everybody.
Right, wait. Sorry,
Oh, go
Catherine.
ahead.
It just reminded me of the one thing that I wanted to show you guys.
Super
That
cool. Yeah.
exactly because what you said there. It's very timely. The holiday season is very timely because you will be surrounded by people and by objects and everything. So why not grab one of these guys, one of these foldable sketchbooks? Oh,
Oh
sorry,
yeah.
we're focusing on, yeah. And just record your day to day. I mean, this was my Christmas 2 years ago in my hometown of Lagos. So we went to visit the cliffs. This is my sister and my brother-in-law. We were playing Monopoly, card Monopoly. Then we went to visit our family for the New Year in Sweden, and this is so there's a tiny map there recording the trip, and finally a dinner party there with our family there in Sweden. So you can do this basically either on a page as we did today, or in a single like foldable
Wow.
zigzag accordion sketchbook. So there's a lot of potential for this technique. You just have to know how to best integrate the different objects in the different scales.
Yeah, and Clarice has mentioned I see this story, and Clarice has mentioned also earlier that she's been doing what you've been talking about, but she calls it journaling because she puts or adds some thoughts to it. So it's pretty much the same. All right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly, exactly. Journaling is also a big word for this. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Pedro, for showing us your wonderful work. And thank you, everybody. Until next time, make more art. Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye bye.